Hey guys, my name is That Quiet Kid, and in this video, I'm going to cover two privilege escalation topics. First is path variable, and the second is restricted shell. So let's start with path variable first. So let's log in into the system using a user called path user that I created for this exercise. The credentials is also path user. Okay, we have successfully logged in. So the first thing that I would like to check is if there are any, SUIDs. So for that we are going to use the find command slash dash permission. We we are looking for files that have, SUID bit set dev slash null and wait. Okay, so we can see that there is a new SUID bit, I mean SUID binary, which is opt slash script. So let's navigate to opt directory. This is not a your usual SUID binaries that you find on your system. It's a custom made one. So let's go to opt and do ls dash la. Okay, we can also execute this file and read it as well. So let's execute this binary. Okay, so it looks like it is running the id command for the root user. How do I know that? If I run id command, you will see the similar output. So right now I am this path user, so you will see that my uid is 1013, guid is 1013, group is 1013. No special groups, nothing, no special permissions. But when the script binary is run, it gives the uid as root, guid as root. So what I can say from this is this is running the id command for the root user. So what we can do is, so usually there is a thing like whenever a binary runs without the exact path. So if it's not running with the like exact path, what I mean by exact path is, so if I do which find, so you'll see that its whole path is user bin find. So when I run find, it goes to user bin and find. This is the like the whole path. So if I run find and user bin find, so what I'm trying to say is that if you use the complete path, then it is a safe way to use a binary using the complete path. But if you simply use the name of the binary, so that is not a safe way to use. So we have this script which is running the id command. So let's first try to create our own id binary because it is running the id command, right? So we are going to create our own id binary, and when the script runs, instead of going to the whole path, if you do echo, so going through this whole path, we will make sure that it goes to our id, like id binary that we are going to create. So simply, without complicating stuff, simply navigate to temp directory. Here we are going to create a slash bin slash bash and output it to a file called as let's call it id, because okay, ls dash la ls chmod plus else x. Let's make it executable. We have made it executable. We have created a id command. Now the thing that is left is to modify the path. So first check out the path, modify it. So we are going to use the export command path slash temp dollar sign path. So what I am trying to do here is I am putting this temp in front of like the path. So before going to user location, navigate to the temp directory, and when it navigates to temp directory, it will execute our own created id binary instead of the system one. So that is what we are doing here. So now if you do, okay, we're not in bash, echo path So you'll see there is a temp. So instead of going to the user location, like if you do which id, you will, okay, so right now we have created such that it will go to temp id. So usually whenever our system tries to execute any binary, it goes through this whole path, and we have modified it so that it goes to temp first, and inside temp we have our own id. So when we run the script, instead of the intended id, that is the original system's original id binary that should be run, it will execute our own custom created id binary. So let's navigate to opt again. Now run the script. Let me first show you. If I run id, I am okay. It's executing bash. So we cannot, you can still see that I am path user, and it is executing bash, like bash shell. So if I run now, if I run the script command, instead of the original id binary of the system, it will execute our custom created one. So if you run script, now you can see that we are running as the root user. So if you navigate to root, see, we can navigate to the root directory, and who am I am root. So this is where you can escalate your privileges by exploiting the path variable, and taking advantage of the fact that a script was running a binary without the whole path. So if it was running the id with the whole path, then it would have been difficult to escalate our privileges. So that's for a path variable. Now let's talk about restricted shell. So we can restore the path as well. So the path was this. Let's restore the path first. Let's It was export path equals to this. Now let's do echo $sign path. Now if I run id, okay, now I can run the id command. If I exit out of here, an id, okay, I think it's, let me remove that. Okay, now it is executing the id as intended. Like now if you do which id, you will see that it is, the whole path is user bin id. And if you do echo path, so okay, I think we have to again modify the path. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, now let's do echo path. Okay, okay, so this is for escalating privileges by exploiting path variable, and the fact that there was a binary which was running a command using another binary without its whole path. So we modified the path, and just let me, okay, now let's do echo path. Okay, so this looks good. We have restored the path as well. Okay, so we have talked about path variable. Now let's move on to restricted shell. Let's exit out of here. Let me clear out my screen. So I have created a user called as r user, which is like the restricted user. So ssh r user at the rate 192.168.1.114. So the password is r user as well. So okay, okay, so actually the system was a bit slow, so I was trying to like again. So we have successfully logged in as our user. So what's a restricted shell? A restricted shell is basically a shell which restricts the user from running certain commands. It's like a limitation, it's like a boundary that has been put around a user, which restricts that particular user from executing certain commands. So what I mean by that is, so let's try to run pwd. We can run the pwd command, but if you try to switch directories, you will see r bash, it's restricted. Sorry. If you try to run like navigate to opt directory, you'll see restricted. So how do we escape this? So there is a very easy way to escape a restricted shell, which is by using invoking a shell using languages. So if it is running python, perl, or any language, we can use that to invoke a shell apart from restricted shell. So what you have to do is check which languages are present. So type which python. Okay, let's try which python 3. Okay, python 3 is present. We can check for perl as well. Okay, so perl, python, we have identified two languages are there. We can check for others as well, but it is not important. We just need to find one language, and then we can invoke a shell using that language. So navigate to gtfo bins. Let's use the perl one. So go to shell, and we are going to execute perl, and perl is going to execute this shell. So instead of sh, let's try bash. Shell, you can use sh as well, but I prefer bash. So if you run enter, now if you try to cd into opt, I mean it's cd slash opt, system is a bit slow. So okay, so as you can see, we have successfully escaped a restricted shell by simply invoking a shell using a language, whatever is available at that point in that system. So this is so that's it for this video, and thank you for watching.